She only typed 54 keystrokes in an hour. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Grab your stein of coffee. I hope you're all having a great weekend. And let's have a look at this article. It came out a few days about this lady who was fired from work because she was working from home. And I don't think she's ever really done a day's worth of work in her life, to be brutally honest. So Fair Work Commission rules IAG's firing of Susie Chick for not typing enough on laptop was fair. Okay, so she wasn't typing enough on the laptop. So she worked for an insurance company for 18 years. So she was 18 years at this one job and sacked after bosses monitored her work activity on her laptop. Now, I remember years ago when I was working for an architectural practice, one here in Brisbane. They had an office in Tasmania and one in Sydney. And because back when I was a student at QT, you had 1 day at university and 4 days in office. 4 days. So, I'll go full screen for story time. Hang on. There we go. So, you had our 4 days in the office, so you'd run a whole lot of projects, you work on a lot of stuff. And I remember I had a friend of mine who moved down to Sydney. So I introduced her to some of the people in the Sydney office, and she got a job there. And, I think it was good enough. She seemed to enjoy it. And I remember one of the directors let her know, which is pretty stupid of his part, how they could monitor the staff, because he jumped onto my computer and started watching me as I was working. And she told me about that. She told me about that, and I was outraged. I was really, because this guy was a bit of a prick anyway, but I was really offended, as you would be. And I was going to Rachel, who was my girlfriend at the time, and I was going, "Oh, that's it. I need to talk. I'm going to quit." And she calmed me down. What I ended up doing is I found the software they use to monitor people, which is software I used to use when I was a network admin at a previous architectural practice. And I just simply changed all the passwords on my machine so they couldn't monitor me. It took them several months to realize that they couldn't monitor me. But I changed that for privacy reasons. So I can appreciate how people can find it intrusive and frankly offensive that people have to monitor you to such a degree, at least when I was a student. As an employer, I know sometimes people can be, lazy or just not at the capabilities that they are for the job or at the position, or they just can't produce the work fast enough. Often, that just comes with the experience. They need more experience, more training, hopefully, that's what it is. So I can see both sides of it. I can understand why employers want to monitor staff. Architecture, it's a bit different because you're delivering outcomes. So you'll be measured by, okay, you need to get these sets of drawings out. You need to, do these details, this type of stuff. So you're producing deliverables constantly. And, keystrokes, could you count that? I got an email from Autodesk telling me what commands I use in my Rivet software. You're using this command, this command, this command. Here's a handy hint that you can use for something new, which, frankly, I found quite useful. But this is interesting. I'd like to get your take on it, guys. Okay? Do you think she ever actually has worked hard in her life? 18 years at one company. So a major insurance company used keystroke technology on an employee's work laptop to test whether she was working her designated hours, and it ended terribly for her. Fair Work Commission has rejected an unfair dismissal application brought by former Insurance Alliance Group consultant Susie C, we'll say, finding she was fired for a valid reason of misconduct. According to the Commission's published findings, she was responsible for creating insurance documents, meeting regulatory timelines, and monitoring work-from-home compliance, among other significant roles. So her job was to monitor work-from-home compliance, and she wasn't complying with the work-from-home. This is why there's going to be a lot of people that ruin work-from-home. I guarantee you there's going to be more and more of a push of businesses just saying, no, we're not taking that. We can't handle it. We're not doing it. They're going to step away from it. I bet you. Just watch. Just watch. Ironically, her own work-from-home performance marked the end of her 18 years with the company. 18. I mean, that's a big stint. How old is she? Does it say her age? I thought she was like 38 or something. That could be wow. I've got a mate who's an insurance broker. I'd love to get his opinion on this. I'll ring him up and ask him if he reckons that his people could get by with 54 keystrokes an hour. I'm like, come on. She was fired on February 20th for missing deadlines and meetings, being absent and uncontactable, and failing to lodge a product disclosure statement, which caused the industry regulator to fine IAG. Oh, boy. And I mean, this uncontactable thing, that's what I've been told by directors that have got a lot of staff working remotely now. It's people not being contactable. You're meant to work from this time to this time, and then they go off and mow the lawn. A month later, she claimed to the Fair Work Commission her employer had a premeditated plan to remove her from the business and that she was targeted due to her mental health issues. Oh, really? I mean, are mental health issues the responsibility of your employer? I mean, we've had staff, and I remember when they were working for us, we had one guy, he was really sick all the time, and we'd give him time off and would deal, do our best for it. And it looks like years later now he's sorted out his health issues, gone on to have a successful career. We had other firms that, friends were taking off time and they'd just fire them instantly. I mean, you need people to work, don't you? Maybe if you're not healthy enough to work, maybe you need a sabbatical or a holiday or something. Or isn't that what sick leave's for? According to the online findings, she received a formal warning in November 2022 about her output and was put on a PIP, a performance improvement plan. Okay, if you ever get on a PIP, that's when you need to start looking for another job. Right there. At that moment, she should have looked for another job, but she's been in there forever, and it was 2022. It was only last year. I mean, that's the writing on the wall. Let me know if you've ever been on one of these guys and it worked out for the best, or you said, okay, this place... I mean, if you're not performing, you're probably over it. Don't want to be there. Maybe that's a message to you as well to find something else. Or maybe they're holding on for, what's that money that they give you when they fire you? Redundancy. Don't worry, Rachel handled our HR. She took care of all of that when we used to have people. She was subject to a detailed review of cyber activity, which analysed the number of times she physically pressed her keyboard on 49 working days from October to December. The review found she did not work her rostered hours for 44 days, started late on 47 days, finished early on 29 days, and performed 0 hours of work on 4 days. I mean, I wonder what she was doing at the office. I'm sure a lot of people are like that at the office. You probably got a better opportunity to monitor to this offside. On the day she did log on, she had very low keystroke activity and recorded 0 strokes over 117 hours in October, 143 hours in November, and 60 hours in December. She averaged 54 strokes per hour over the duration of her surveillance. I mean, what's that? 10 words? 10 long words? I mean, you should be filling out insurance application forms, paperwork. Well, no, I'm assuming. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it's automated, but you'd still have to type and copy and paste things. I mean, 54. I'd probably type in more than 54 keystrokes just to upload this video and to get ChatGPT to make the tags. Oh, boy. I wonder if she ever really worked hard. In a formal meeting about the review, she said she did not believe for a minute the data was true, but showed no evidence that she'd been online and working when the report showed she had, or she hadn't. Sometimes the workload is a bit slow, but I've never not worked, she told her managers. I mean, I may go to the shops from time to time. There you go. There's your 4 days a month off. But that's not for the entire day. I need to take some time to consider this, and I'll put forward a response. I mean, I'm thinking when you're at an office working, you got your hours, either the hours you deliver per week or your hours per day. And I mean, sure, you can take some time, but it should be a bit of give and take. I don't think there was any give. There was a lot of give or a lot of take, not a lot of give from her part in this circumstance, at least according to the data they provided. She said she looked at the data to seek an explanation for the missing hours, but can't recall why or how it is that low. Yeah, she probably doesn't realize. I've tried to go through emails and messages to see if I can explain it. I've been going through a lot of personal issues, which has caused a decline in my mental health, and unfortunately, I believe it has affected my performance and my work. Yeah, it probably has. I mean, maybe she's suffering from burnout. We don't know. I mean, that's something you've got to address. And sadly, this may be the mechanism she finds out about it. So we don't know what's happened to her to get to this point. She says she started on time, but had a few things going on due to an injury. She claimed she would send a Teams message to advise managers when she had medical appointments and would make up the time afterwards. She said she was confused and shocked at the data, doubted its accuracy, and she said she used other devices than her laptop to log in when she had system issues. According to the Fair Work Commission ruling, she attended one Teams meeting with her manager regarding her performance with the word F written across her hand. Okay, well, what's the... I mean, maybe that's a note or something? Or did she show it in a Teams meeting? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm loving Teams meetings. They're making it so much easier to run things. Deputy President of the Fair Work Commission, Thomas Roberts, ruled the evidence showed she was not working as she was required to do during her designated work hours while monitored. He found she could not provide a credible explanation for the data to her employers or through Fair Work Commission proceedings. She also couldn't show proof of the work actually done during the hours of minimum keystrokes. Mr. Roberts wrote that while she had used her phone for certain tasks, her employer had shown the need for her to use her laptop to complete her duties. The applicant was dismissed for a valid reason of misconduct, he said. I have little doubt that the factors underlying the applicant's disconnect from work were serious and real. The situation was regrettable given her long period of satisfactory service, Mr. Roberts wrote. Nonetheless, I'm satisfied that the dismissal of the applicant was not harsh, unjust, or unreasonable. The applicant's application is therefore dismissed. Okay, so I mean, let's have a bit of a chat about this one, guys, because there's a few things here. There's a few things to this one. I mean, think about it. If you've had someone who's been working with you for 18 years with the business, and they're going through some personal shit. Something happens, they get injured. In a smaller business, hopefully, you would be able to cut them some slack, or you'd be able to work with them to work something out. But in a place like that, that's so big and inhumane, and dare I say, with a human resources department that just treats you like a cog, they couldn't give a shit. Could they? You're just another number, another statistic. So there's not going to be any room to move or any appreciation for personal circumstances which could be causing this behavior. I mean, the poor woman, everyone's going to hear about this. No one's going to hire her. I understand she's gone on social media. She's complaining about it. She could potentially leverage this into a social media following. But I'd suggest she needs to just take some time off, sort of stuff out, and build a new career in something else. What do you think, guys? I mean, it wouldn't be any different, though, if someone was going to the office and their life was falling apart. They'd probably lose their job. Their job, too. I think when you're in an organization this big, you're just a cog anyway. They don't give a shit about you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. What do you think? Should employers be allowed to monitor their staff like this? I mean, they're using staff computers. You're getting all the information. And are you monitored at your work? I should monitor Rachel. She's working on a job right now. Better check. She's got to get those drawings out. I'll be going back and working on it tonight. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Is she in the right? Is she in the wrong? Or... that's the risk you take working for somewhere like that big, isn't it? Anyway, take care. Have a great day. Check out Heiser, a bit more Heiser does for other content I create. If you're a fan and want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy a Pocket Squares, or call me if you need an architect. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.